Ed, what got you in the Edwins program?
Well, it's kind of a twisted little story with that, because I've been living right down the street for like 5 years now. I got out 5 years ago, and I went to work in construction and stuff like that I felt I could get into. And then somebody in my family told me about Edwins, and I walked past it every day and did not know. And one day I went in on a Friday and signed up, and I heard everything. I looked it up on my phone. I was like, got to be a trick to this. It's too much. But then listening, I realized that it wasn't. I spent a lot of time in prison and got out, and in my age, it's hard to get into making a career at my age and my background.
Right.
But Edwins gave me that opportunity. They accepted me with my age. They accepted me with my background. And my age and background had nothing to do with it from day one.
Right.
It was about the passion of cooking and tasting food, seeing the smile on customers and the guests' faces when you cook that dish, like doing the banana Fosters.
Yeah.
Oh man, just being there and watching them, that is so exciting to me, and it gave me a different look into the food industry.
Right.
I never knew that the restaurant industry was so intriguing. I like to cook.
Yep.
But it makes more sense to me now.
Oh, for sure.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And the 6 months it went by so fast that I was like, wait, there got to be more time.
Right. I feel you.
But we got into it so well, and the core of us that made it through, we've been pushing each other, so it's all right.
Yeah. So for me, I had gone to prison for the second time, and I was sitting there, and we got these tablets, and I'm all the way in Maine, so I'm 600 miles away from here.
Right.
And I see this tablet, and I see this guy named Jerry on the tablet, and he's with his little saute pan. He flips that egg in that pan, and I was like, man, I need to learn how to flip an egg like that. So that was the first push where I said to my cellmate, I was like, I'm going to Edwins. And a lot of people inside were like, no, you're not going to do that. You're not going to do that. And here I am, ready to finish the program.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
Now, this started our big week. We've been going at this for 6 months, and this week is our finale.
Oh, yeah.
We got our menu together, our dishes. Now we got to do all the prep and all the cooking. We got to show that what we learned.
Yeah, and then we got to go over, make the plate, see how we're going to plate each food and how we're going to send it out.
Yeah.
And that's...
but the thing is, just think about it. 6 months ago, who would have thought that we would be coming up with the whole banquet plan?
Yeah.
The meals, the wine pairing, prepping the food, a cocktail of our own, named the Cleveland 75.
Yeah.
Who would have thought we'd be doing this?
Right.
We wouldn't have thought we'd be doing it.
Right. How many people dropped out that could have stayed? And
hey, it's down to 11.
Now we're still one of the biggest classes.
And we're still one of the biggest classes, and we're still down to 11. But when we started, we told John we're going to be one of your bigger classes.
Yep, we told him.
And
we're staying true to it.
And we're staying true to it.
And we're staying true to it.
And like I said, though, this week is show and prove.
Yeah, it is.
But we got the skills to do it now.
Yeah, and we have the classmates. Good classmates, good people.
It's the core of us that started. Actually, in this library right here, remember the week after we started, we was in this room studying.
Yeah. Right there at that table.
There at that table over there. Yep. We was sitting there studying, talking about everything, grabbing books.
Yeah.
From here to study with.
Yep.
Actually, that's when I grabbed that Julia Child's book.
Yes.
And that's the first time I ever read one of her books. Seen her on TV, black and white, all of that.
Yeah, back in the day.
Back in the day, but I never read one of her books, and it pushed me.
Push you,
and then, like what we're doing now, back there, matchsticking those apples.
Yep.
That's stuff that I seen on her show, in the book. We learned down here when we went. You didn't go, you stayed to do service, but when we went to New York, they showed us how to do that at CIA too.
Yeah.
So it was good, man.
Yeah, I was in a new city, so I wanted to go to New York, but I really needed to get my foothold in here, so I stayed back for this.
Well, the good part is when you did stay here, it kept the restaurant abreast while we were gone.
Right.
And when we got back, you had caught on to some things that we wasn't hip to by then.
Yep.
And then you helped the rest of the class catch up.
Yeah.
And then you found out about down there about us sending you videos and stuff like that. All the way around, it was a good experience, man. But like I said, this week is our week. And
I love the camaraderie that we have as a class, and I hope other classes can see that and try to get the same.
Just like Heather said when we first got here that first 2 weeks, she said, you get used to this, but this is a big family. You belong to a family.
Yep.
And that showed. It showed in the growth that we've had.
Oh, yeah.
Because all of us have grown so much together and individually.
Yeah.
To the point where we are one big family.
And how we listen to each other, like,
and look for each other. Where you 10 minutes late? Where you at? But you know what? We wouldn't have had that without, the principles that Edwin's been showing us.
Yeah, for sure.
And these are principles that we already had, but we weren't implementing.
We weren't implementing it.
We wasn't caring about what's going on around us, what's going on with the people we're close to, working with.
Oh, for sure.
How we're progressing and stuff.
Yep.
It's a whole different animal now.
It is. So I would say the big difference is a lot of people come in here with the wrong motives. Like Ed and I came in here because we love the art of cooking. And I see that a lot of the people that are in with us in this class right now, they all love the art of cooking. And we've come out to bring each other meals behind the dorms. We brought out, one point I brought out sweet potato chips and that I made by myself up in the room. And then someone else brought down burgers that they made. And I think that's really the big difference, is how much you really want it compared to just something to get by with.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean, we wanted it from the grip. That's what I know.
Right.
And you, Jazz, me, Will, Dave.
We put in the work.
What about you, bud? What do you think, Ed? What's the difference between those that make it all the way through and those that fall?
Well, from what I've seen, a lot of the difference for the ones that don't make it all the way through, some of them have their priorities set on a different genre. Some of them are just here to have something to do. Some just wanted, somewhere to stay. Right. And and I don't take nothing from nobody. Whatever you need, get it. But the ones that don't make it through are the ones that don't take it serious enough. To hold it in their heart and say, look, I'm gonna do this.
Right.
I'm gonna prove this to myself. Some of them were here just to prove something to someone else.
Right.
And most of us that stayed and make it through, we were here because we wanted something. And don't get me wrong, every last one of us had them weeks where we were about to quit, we were about to walk out. Yep. But the difference was we stuck with each other, and actually the 11 that we have left is that core that stayed on each other. It wasn't to be friends. We didn't start out being friends. We just started out being comrades at arms.
Right.
Because we were jumping into something new.
Yeah.
And wanted it, and we knew we could help each other.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that was the biggest difference between the two.
When I was incarcerated, it was important for me to have hope, because when I was there sitting by myself, just in my head all day, thinking about my family and not being able to get a hold of someone, but then all of a sudden I'm seeing this Edwins program and I'm like, whoa, this is something I can look forward to when I get out. And then I'm talking to Derek Spites on the phone and getting it all situated, and it gave me something to fight for while I was in there, instead of just sit there and watch TV all day. And I instead of being in a depression, like, and I'm sure most people who've ever been locked up or been in prison or jail can understand the type of deep depression you get into when you're in a cell block and you're locked in 6 hours out of the day. And at first it's 23 hours a day, and then you get out, but it puts you mentally in a spot. So that kind of hope just really helps someone survive sometimes.
Exactly.
How about you, Ed?
See, being locked up for me at my age, and I know I speak on my age a lot, and it's because even seeing the people that come down through the program, you very rarely see guys or females my age coming through, because most of them, they don't have the passion or the want to start a career at my age. Either trying to finish one or trying to get away from one.
Right.
And see, when I was locked up, man, it gets hopeless sometimes in your own head, because we can be our worst enemies when we get in our own way.
Yeah.
And I did that a lot in the past. I got in my own way and I wasn't able to go forward with anything. And a lot of it was because I didn't have the opportunity. I'm well educated.
Right.
I got a bachelor's degree. I'm a couple semesters short of a master's degree in college.
Right.
But the thing is, just knowing stuff is different from having the opportunity to do something.
Right.
You know what I mean? And there's times when I was incarcerated, I wanted to give up because I didn't have hope.
Yeah.
But when I found out even when I got out, and I'm working menial jobs, manual labor, warehouse, stuff like that, that's not something that I wanted to do. I wasn't happy.
Right.
Learning about Edwins gave me hope. I was like, I love to cook.
Right.
I love to eat.
Yeah.
So why not learn how to cook good?
Right.
And it gave me hope because I seen that it was so many things I already knew that I didn't even realize I knew. Like the knife skills we be going through. They say chiffonade. I didn't know what a chiffonade was until somebody did it. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's the way my grandmother showed me how to cut greens when I was young. That's a chiffonade. I'm like, oh wow. And it gave me hope to say, look, I can do this. I can actually do this. This is not out of my reach.
Right.
Edwins gave me that hope.
Yeah, for
sure. It
sure.
did. Just coming into this program gave me that hope. And look where we are right now.
I know.
Look where we are right now. We got this. Well, when I was incarcerated and I was at them points where I was always in my head, I used to sit there and think, no, I can't wait to get out just to get a full-time job, to live like a normal citizen.
Right.
And like you seen some of my artwork.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I could put my art, I want to start a business with my artwork and do this and do that. But most of it was just living.
Yeah.
It was just living. I wanted to do something that made meaning for me.
Right.
Something that I could be proud of myself instead of trying to get somebody else to be proud of me for anything.
Right.
And then again, they're used to this. The opposite side of that too. I used to be in my head, be like, I can't wait to get out and go back to hustling and this, that.
Yeah.
And those thoughts always played. But by the time I got ready to get out, that time alone made me want more.
Yeah.
Than just going back to what got me where I was.
Right.
I didn't know what it was going to be. But I knew I wanted more.
Right.
Yeah, how about you?
So when I was locked up, a lot of what I used to think about was my next move. And I've been in kitchens now for like the past 10 years. So I knew I wanted to go somewhere back in the kitchen. And I really knew I wanted to move out of state. I wanted to go to a new place. I wanted to start over, and I wanted to really start over for once. So I was on kind of like already a path of I'm getting out of here. I'm gonna do something different with my life, and I'm not gonna do the same thing, because this was my second time back in prison. My first time in prison, I was like, oh, you know, I was young, I was headstrong, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get back out and I'm gonna hang out with women and I'm gonna hang out with my boys and we're gonna go have a good time. But the second time I was like, no, I'm really gonna go do something with my life. I'm out of here. And they just being able to do that it's such a big relief and weight off my shoulders. And I think it's a weight people don't even know I carry, you know?
I know that feeling.
Now that we're done, I can't wait. I'm on my way. I work at E2. I'm on my way to trying to become the RA here, so I can help other students get to where I'm at now, so they can feel proud about themselves. And then I hope within a few years I can save up enough money. I can have my diner, do a little music studio on top, and people come by.
We talked about that.
Yeah, people come by and eat good breakfast food all day and no cell phones, so that way they're sitting there with their family and actually having a meal.
Yeah, it's good.
What about you, Ed?
Well, now that we're done, I can't wait to you know, the management program was always a passion of mine since we found out about it.
Right.
And me and some of the staff been discussing it lately, and hopefully, you know, I can't wait to get the opportunity to get back in the kitchen and be back in the house.
Right.
And training, because I know I have a lot to give a lot of the new students. And even if that doesn't go through, I know that, you know, Kelly said I can get hours over at E2. I can still get hours over at E1. I want to work for this program because this program has what I wanted to do anyway, to give back, to be part of the solution.
Right.
And not part of the problem.
Not part of the problem.